How we doing, guys? We're trying something new again because we can. Um, so it'll be interesting. Let's see here. I'm doing it from OBS. Um, okay. So I was working on a new deck last night. Playing Undead. I was doing Undead. For Kryptik. It turned out pretty good. I beat the discard deck because of the recursion that Undead has. Um, Very grueling match, kind of boring to watch. I'm gonna be honest. The last game, we were both just like focused. We're like, we gotta win. This is for the money. 3 games, win to 3 games. Problem is that deck isn't going to win again. It's not gonna be angry. Um, but before we get too far into that, let's open up some packs. So my winning pack, fun. We're gonna open up until we get a little more. Let's go. Try to keep that away from the camera. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm at a point now finally where all I care about is foils and rares, the noble rares. Amador, Hush, Hema, Reek. Felicity, Coco. I love Felicity. Coco, Nidar, Rosa, Henry. 11, I don't think I have. Ooh, and a Conchu. No noble rare though. Last night Mike got a 2 noble rare pack, 2 packs, both of them noble rare. So if we got unlucky and didn't get noble rare pack. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's see here what we got. What? Good. Theodore, Lorelei, Electra, Andros. So Theodore, good because he replaces himself. He's 2 that replaces himself. Electra, Andros, Hondo. That's true. Oh, but Estrid enters the island. Have you ever had bad coffee cookies? No. Today's coffee is a Sumatra. I'm gonna drink it. Honey roasted Sumatra. So, um, so you know, most people have their vices, right? People have things that they spend more money on. I would rather spend no money on anything except coffee and beer. I will spend the extra money to get that good coffee. But I have had shitty coffee. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've had bad coffee. Also, I'm incredibly unlucky when it comes to polls. I am so unlucky that I have other people pick out packs for me so that I get lucky. When I pick it out, I'm so bad. I get so bad. Okay, so we got Estrid, Pollux. Do we have a normal rare in our foil slot? We do a Tiberius. Okay. So we did get our noble rare. I'll take that. I don't think I have a Tiberius foil. So I'm gonna take a second. So there's this deck I'm working on. So here's the deck. Let me take a look at this. So I was working on this deck last night, and it won. So here's kind of the core of it. The core creatures. There's a lot of core spells. Good coffee's always a win. Can't go wrong with it. I have had expensive coffee that I didn't think was good. In fact, I've had it on this show. There's this Colombian at my local coffee shop. It's expensive, and I don't like the taste of it. It tastes, I don't know. And I finally figured out it's expensive because they use it's roasted with like brandy or something like that. It's like two different types of brandy. So it's like a $30 bag of coffee that I just don't like the taste of. So I've had good coffee that I think is terrible. And some people, there's a lot of people that like it. To me, it was just too much flavors going on. If you've ever had, I'm about to like nerd out a little bit. So I'm only slightly into like coffee theory, tasting, and things like that. I have an interest in it, so I talk to people about it. Um, a lot of African coffees, especially a Kenyan, they're just heartier. So like if a good Kenyan almost tastes like you're drinking a bowl of soup. It sounds gross, and for me it is gross. But some people like that kind of like that heartier taste in their coffee. I don't. I'm definitely a South American coffee drinker. Um, South and Central American coffee drinker. So, but Colombian, for instance, Colombia, I usually don't drink Colombias as much because they tend to be darker. Just you just roast Colombian darker. So not only do I not like love a Colombian, um, usually do like a medium roast. I don't think you really like roast. Coffee nerdity is acceptable. Okay, thank you. um, so this one, this particular coffee, it has too many flavors going on. It's a Colombian, which number one I already have a harder time with since they do tend to be darker. Um, on top of the fact that there's a lot of flavors. There's hibiscus in it. It's like hibiscus and a couple different types of brandy, things like that. So the hibiscus comes out a lot. It's one of the few coffees that I go, I have to have cane sugar. My favorite coffee right now is from my local coffee shop, a Guatemala, and it has a natural sweetness to it. So one of the flavors that they say on it is like chocolate and cane sugar. Has that kind of natural cane sugar sweetness to it. So it's really, really nice and smooth. You don't need to put anything else in it. My wife always puts cream in hers. She doesn't have to because um, as you get older, and I'm actually getting to a point where she's got feuds on me, but I'm getting to a point where I'm not doing this as a kid. But as you get older, like you just can't handle the coffee's very. It's got kind of that acidic sense to it. So your body can't handle it as much. I've been noticing I've been drinking too much coffee, and so by the end of the day, I have a headache, and my stomach is slightly upset because my stomach's just like, ugh, why did you drink all of that coffee? Which I never had that until like this year, so I'm getting old apparently. Um, so yeah, so there's one of the few things I know about coffee and my nerdiness. Uh, my favorite coffee shop that had the best coffee that they roasted there actually closed down during the pandemic. Their roaster was so good, and then the coffee shop I love going to, and I liked going to it before the pandemic. I kind of split my time between two coffee shops, two local ones. I'm at coffee shops way too much. After this, I'm going to go to a coffee shop. But the coffee shop that I go to now, Nova, they actually bought the roaster from the other one, and so their roasting got way better because that roaster was really, really good. It's amazing how different the roaster. But anyways, let's talk nerdiness right here. This is I was messing with this recursion stuff last night, and I think that there is something here. Um, this be a discard deck that's made to be aggro. So like this is like a control recursion almost. Um, so Zilla lets you play stuff out of your turn once per turn. He's a 1/10, so there's not a lot that can kill him, and he's toxic. So a lot of times he can still make the board. Um, some good insight. Thank you, Samuel. Samuel Graham does TCGs. Um, by the way, I was talking to Mike last night. I was like, "Hey, um, yeah, I was telling him about the drawing and we talked about Samuel. And he laughed and he's like, Did we finally get him over 100?" I was like, "Yes, we did." So I know I put in a couple extra. I've told people to subscribe to. I know he did. So we're gonna get you to 200 too, but not that you can't do it on your own. You definitely can. You're very entertaining. I love watching yourself. But we're gonna keep the word of mouth going. We wanna. I think I am super entertained by all of your box openings. Very insightful in whatever game you do. So, okay. So recursion here. So we got Zilla. You let you play stuff out of your graveyard. We have things like one of the core cards in this is Renewed Tenacity. For 3, focus means you play it on your turn. You can return a target citizen from a limbo pile at total cost 5 or less. To play Renewed Tenacity, pull out Zilla. We have lots of different ways of getting cards into our discard pile. So we have stuff that's sending it in. No, well, minimal ego here. Right, no, I know. I understand. I think we all have a minimal ego. But yeah. So we have Zilla here. We have I do believe we're like a minute or two behind, so if I'm reacting late to your comment because of that. So we have Zilla here. Bring stuff out. Renewed Tenacity can bring out Zilla, can bring out Nolan, it can bring out Dahlia. Nolan here has sidestep. Whenever he destroys a card, you can 11-year card. You draw one, the probe one. For those that aren't familiar, you don't have life. And this kind of runs like if you've ever played Pokemon TCG, what you do is you take your top 6 cards and put them in, and you attack those cards. They're almost like bases. Once you run out of cards, they can attack you directly. If they get through, you lose. So no life, so that's fun. I actually kind of enjoy it. I've been playing a lot of competitive Pokemon TCG, so this kind of instead of it being you knock out a Pokemon, you get a prize. It's when they attack your card, you actually get that card. And you'll notice down here, this says 3. If this was in my 11-year world, they attacked it, they destroyed it. But what I do is I reveal the card, and then if I have 3 mana, doesn't matter what color, I can cast them out. So usually you can cast them out for cheaper. I can cast them out. If I don't, it goes to my hand. So by destroying their cards, you are getting closer to winning, but you're also giving them a hand. So you're helping them. You're getting closer to winning, but they're getting more cards. So it's a good balance. I've been really enjoying it. So anyway, so he's got sidestep, which is kind of like flying or flanking, if old school Magic players flanking. Um, but this second card not doesn't really matter. He's used a lot as a defender, or maybe occasionally we'll get through it. But he can kill most sidesteppers, not all, but most. And then when he dies, you draw a card. So Zilla wants to bring out Nolan if they're getting a lot of sidesteppers for you to block them, and then if he dies, who cares? You want to trade, you'll trade gladly. Dahlia, basically when she enters, she returns any target citizen to its owner's hands. There's a card that a lot of people like to run called Davy. And this is whenever he enters or dies, you may return target citizen with total soul cost 2 or less. That's a pretty cool way of handling win condition. Yes, I think it's really cool. I've been enjoying the win condition. It does make it so. One of the things that makes it difficult to wrap your head around is the fact like these numbers they look high and everything, and we got buffs to increase numbers. Um, it doesn't. These numbers mean nothing. They mean something, right? Like, am I going to trade it? Am I not? That sort of thing. But like, they let Dahlia through. I'm attacking a card. The difference between letting a Dahlia through and a Zilla through is the same outcome. I lose a card. So these numbers can go a little bit. They can be a little bit crazier with their attacking numbers and their defensive numbers, simply because it doesn't matter. Davey's really good. He is the coolest the coolest art, I think. But yeah, so that's what it's hard to. I've been starting to wrap my head around that. It's hard to get my head around that because I'm so used to like, hey, if I come in with a tenor, like you don't want to let that through. Well, maybe you do, right? The outcome of this guy coming through and this guy coming through is roughly the same. In fact, both of these are probably killing someone. So you'll notice there's very rarely most cards have higher attack and lower health, simply because of that. Because they are um, attack power doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's not like Magic where they have to kind of control that attack power. If someone has an attack power of 100, but then they have 8 life, it literally doesn't matter. The outcome is the same. So Renew Tenacity brings back any one of these guys. Zilla lets you play stuff out of your discard, so you're happy to throw your people, your citizens, into the discard pile because you're gonna find stuff to get it out. So that's kind of the core of this. So initially, I was going for a very much undead, a little bit more controlly, like long term. I'm gonna mess with this because I have a stack of cards to assign here. I think I actually want a blue green deck. So if we go blue green, then we're gonna get Einars, we're gonna get Davies. So the idea behind it now is um, we want to get out because aggro is about 90% of the field right now, and so my thought process is I want to out aggro them, not necessarily out aggro. I want to have a lot of small costs so I can defend against them, but then get this running. So how do I do that? Well, blue, we get Davy to bounce stuff back if he lives when he enters or if he dies. Hey, thank you, Love Pugs. Hello, everyone. I'm new to the live chat. Just subscribe to YouTube channel. Thank you so much. We appreciate the support. Um, we've been trucking along here. But yeah, so I'm just going over like a thought. I'm theory crafting right now, so I have no idea if this is gonna work. So my theory crafting is using a Zilla engine, getting Nolan out to stop sidesteppers. When he dies, he draws. I don't care if he does because I'm gonna get him back up. Dahlia bounces anything. If I go green, blue, then I can get Davy in here, who lets me bounce stuff if they're weaker, they're cost 2 or less, when he enters and when he dies. So I'm happy to Zilla him out, play him, bounce something back to their hand, and then block with him, and bounce something back to their hand again. Einar can't be blocked. He can't block, but he also can't be blocked. So thought process is we get some of these out, then we get out Einar to keep attacking. My only concern with this deck right now is that I don't think there's enough sidestep, and so I'm trying to figure out what the core of this is. So I'm looking at imposed withdrawal here. This lets me put someone back to someone's hand. I might not need this if I have enough pushing, right? Like I got Davy, I got Dahlia. So I don't know if I need this or not. Trivialize. Looking at this, it turns the citizen into a 4/4 and they lose abilities. One of the cool thing is too is all spells in this game are instant. Unless they say focused on them, they're instant speed. So like this is focused, so I have to play on my turn. Then I'm looking at Cleo because when she dies, she probes. Maybe I can get the hit off. I'm looking at Theodore because when he enters, he replaces himself. So I'm trying to look at some blues of just trying to get my engine running, get blockers out there, get my engine running, so that then when I have Zilla, like I'm happy to bring out a Cleo every turn and just eager in, right? So the 5/3 dies, lets me probe. I'm happy to bring her out for one from Zilla and just boom, attack. I'm happy to bring out Davy every turn and bounce stop. I'm happy to bring out Theodore. He lets me draw. So like I'm trying to what I'm looking at is how do I build a deck that allows me to Kushiel too. Kushiel, I'm happy to she can wipe the board if you're in short time 3, which means that they have 3 prizes left essentially of your cards. I'm happy to let her sit in my graveyard to then Zilla her out and destroy. So I'm trying to figure out what the core of this is. I think this is the core right here. And then trying to figure out what goes with that because like I have Barnyard survey, which lets me look at the top three, place two of them in my limbo and one in my hand. I love this card because I could get a Zilla in there and then renew it out. That costs 4 points, which is how much she costs, but I've now cheated her out in a way that I probably have over to. Um, uh, Infinity Blade is a core part of this because I can discard a card or discard a card from my Soul Road. Soul Road is every turn you can place cards upside down like this, and then I can tap it for mana. So I've turned my card into mana. Infinity Blade lets me get stuff. If something gets stuck in my Soul Road, so like what that would allow me to do is I can play Kushil out for my mana, beginning of my game. I only have one in my deck. I can play her out, and then somewhere in there I go, oh sheep, I'm gonna get overwhelmed here. I can't pull this off. I could Infinity Blade something, get her into my discard pile. So I play two, then I have to discard something, get her into my discard pile. Then I could technically renew Tenacity if I had that, her out, or I could Zilla her out another turn. I could get her out in another way. I'm happy to put stuff in my discard pile. So I'm trying to crack the code of what this looks like. Um, because this is my core engine. This is going to give me some support. This will let me end games. This will keep stuff getting out because Zilla lets me play stuff out of my graveyard. So if they are a aggro deck, I Davy, bounce them back to your hand. Cool, you tap. Okay, I'm gonna block it. Maybe you kill it. Okay, cool. Next turn, I'm gonna Davy him back out. Put something back into your hand. Like I'm gonna keep him going. Dahlia lets me choose anything. Dahlia right here. I'm not. So it's just that progression of continually progressing is what I'm looking at. Of how do I turn this recursion into a pseudo aggro, right? Aggro is going to come in. Okay, I can be aggro. If I can recursive out my aggro stuff, I can be aggro. I got to get enough stuff down to block them to then push it back in. So, um, this is my thought process. We're probably going to keep looking at what this looks like. But, anyways, thank you guys for sticking with me. Hope everyone has a wonderful Thursday. One more day closer to Friday. I will see you tomorrow. We'll probably look at what this. I'm going to work on this, and we'll probably look at what this ends up looking like. But everybody have a great one.